3D scanning with the Einstar Shiny 3D scanner, giving the meshed models to Claude. Claude then puts them in Fusion through the MCP connector. Claude creates a file that I can export to Bamboo Studio to print. And so that's the workflow. Okay, final video in a series of 4. In the prior 3 videos, the first one, I tried to see if I could just design a part with AI, and that succeeded. In the second video, I said, okay, let's make something even more complex with the laziest input possible. Photos, took a few measurements. I even scribbled a hand sketch drawing and said, can you build this for me? And it put it in Fusion, it modeled it, and then I printed it and it worked. And in the third video, I did a 3D scan and I said, okay, here's the 3D scan. Can you build a part from that with minimal work? And it kind of worked, but it needed help with the 3D scan. So what did we learn from those 3 videos? I think we've learned that the more detail you give the AI, the more complicated it gets, and the more the AI kind of overcorrects, overthinks, overmodels. I corrected some of the things I did in the third. I'm modeling a fairly complex part. This is a trim piece between the A and B pillars of my 2005 Silverado 2500 HD. The reason why I'm building these parts is because the headliner is starting to delaminate, and I just wanted a trim piece to cover that up and keep the headliner intact. After I scanned it with the delaminations, I thought that I could correct for the delaminations in the software in Fusion with Claude's help. I didn't want to redo the scans, but I ended up redoing the scans, and this time around, I used masking tape to not only delineate where the trim piece should be, but also push the delamination up against the headliner so that it didn't confuse the surface. So that gives me a flat substrate to scan. It also gives me a color contrast in the scan because the masking tape is blue and everything else in the truck is gray or dark gray. And then I could just tell Claude, just use the outline of the tape and that's where the part is going to fit. Now I had context and memory of the prior scans in Claude. So Claude knew what I was doing already. And I just uploaded the new scans and I said, here's a better substrate to start with. Give me a part like you did before, just make it fit to the tape. It took the surface of the tape quite literally and it added texture and jaggedness to the edges because it tried to fit the shape to the tape. Make it fit to the edges, make it fit to the boundaries, but it's a smooth part. I want you to make a smooth part. It's trim pieces in a car, so it needs to be a smooth part. And so I went through a lot of iterations. I used the passenger side again as the first model because it's more complex. There's a grab handle there. I ended up giving Claude more specific instruction with the new scans. So I just put it in PowerPoint. I took screenshots of the EXStar software. I oriented the scan in a direction that it could be easily understandable, and I labeled the perspective. I said, this is from the inside, this is from the outside, this is the A pillar, this is the B pillar. And that helped confirm a lot because in the first iteration of this, Claude didn't understand what was A pillar and what was B pillar. It was obvious to me, it would be obvious to most humans if you're familiar with the car, but you really had to give Claude some more context. And so doing it this way really helped Claude orient itself and understand. And you can see in these pictures how the contrast of the blue masking tape really stands out and makes it a lot easier to see where the new trim is going to go. So it turned out the real trick was getting it to trace lines. These are called splines in Fusion. Get them to be traced along the edges of where the tape boundaries were, and also at the edges of where the trim piece terminated into the existing A pillar trim and the existing B pillar trim. Once those were established, those corners where they terminated were the hardest thing for Claude and Fusion to understand before. I couldn't get those to work on the original scan, but with the tape, it made a lot more sense for it. And so it created spline boundaries, and then it just extruded along the path. So it uses those spline boundaries as a rail, and it extrudes the piece along that path. Then after that extrusion was done and it looked like it fit, then I had Claude splice it in half, create a tab where it could overlap and I could epoxy them together, and then create 2 end tabs for the trim piece to slip into the existing A pillar trim and into the existing B pillar trim so it holds itself in place. And that was it. It was It was pretty easy after going through the first process, which was very iterative and very difficult. Coming down to this was the fastest way to do it. So rather than trying to have it like create a surface over the top, just have it do the splines, using that as an outline and then extrude it. But once it was correct, I printed the driver's side in one go. So putting in all that work and all those reps with Claude really made it pay off. I tried to explain before, this is an experiment, and I got a lot of people responding and saying, bro, you could have just drawn this in Fusion and this would have taken you 5 minutes, and you could have hired somebody from Fiverr to do it. You know, a lot of different criticisms of it, and they didn't really get the point. This is supposed to be an experiment, and really what I'm trying to get to is, it's not quite now, but someday soon we will be able to just give AI some pictures and a discussion and say, I want this, and it will create what you want. I've shown that it's quite possible with a lot of coaxing, but that will only get better. That process will refine. Go check out the other videos. They show you the whole process. But again, this is 3D scanning with the Einstar Shining 3D scanner, using their software, EXStar, to mesh the models, giving the meshed models to Claude. Claude then puts them in Fusion through the MCP connector, models it in Fusion. I can cross-check the model against the scan and verify that it's going to do what I want it to do. Once that's done, I work iteratively with Claude on that part. Claude creates a file that I can export to Bamboo Studio to print. And so that's the workflow. And the MCP connector I covered in the first video. It's actually not that hard to do at all. And you can even just ask Claude, how do I connect you to Fusion? And it will walk you through. Same thing with the EXStar software. There were glitches in that software I didn't understand how to use. I asked Claude, it guided me through. If you want to do any manual editing in Fusion, you can ask Claude, and it's better than Fusion's AI assistant. Same with Bamboo Studio. If there's something weird in Bamboo Studio you don't understand, ask Claude, and they'll help you through it. So I've done all of this with Claude CoWork as sort of like the main brain, helping guide me through. Can you use other AI? Absolutely. Yeah, basically any AI you can do. You can even do this through the chat. A lot of the chat bots, like just the normal ChatGPT or Grok, they can export STL files for you, and you can just do it through description. Of course, they can help you guide through software. You could say, I'm using this software and I don't understand how it works, and it can guide it through. So you don't have to use Claude CoWork to do this. What's unique about Claude CoWork in this case is that it's working in Fusion directly. So I can actually see the model get manipulated by Claude in real time, and that's neat to see. There are other CoWork type tools. OpenAI has one, Grok has one, or XAI has one. So you can use any of those. You don't have to use Anthropic and Claude. I have recently downloaded Grok Bot, and I think it has its limitations on how this workflow would work, but I did automate a lot of stuff with Grok Bot, and so I'll make another video about that, which is super cool. All right, so wrapping up the trim project. It was an experiment, and the purpose of the experiment was if AI could design parts around 3D scans. And I think I proved it to myself that yes, that is completely possible. And using the tape was a much better success than doing it without the tape. All right, I didn't pay much attention to it in the model, and I should have. That the tab here at the end, for whatever reason, is raised. I would prefer that was just a smooth extension of it and there wasn't a little ridge here. In fact, the second part it designed in the first pass. The first one took many, many passes. This one was designed in the first pass. One little error in the corner, which I don't know why that was there, but for one pass, that's not bad. So the first one took like 15, 20 passes. The second one took one. So this shows that there is a path to improvement. There's a way to do this in more efficient ways. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm just going to put these in the truck as they are. It could be a little better. For now, it's fine. Maybe I'll refine them and print them another time. But I think I'm done with these videos, and you guys are probably done with it too, because this is like the third installment on this stuff. And yeah, it's Davian Hill with SolveFix Build. Thanks for watching.